think one of the strongest guiding philosophies in my work right now is about ancestry and discovering who we are and our identity through the past. And a lot of what I like to talk about is dreamscapes and soul searching, essentially, based on ancestry. Hi, my name is Amy-Leigh Braaf, and I go by Haku Pike. I'm a muralist, a painter, and a designer. I'm from Johannesburg, South Africa, and I'm based in Cape Town right now, but I go back and forth depending on exhibitions and murals, and I tend to travel quite a bit. So the medium I really enjoy using is acrylic paints on rolled canvas because I have a lot of flexibility with the size, and because I do murals, I really like the idea of playing with large-scale paintings that are also portable. I was really drawn to the Atlas of Uncertainty project, mainly because my own work explores similar topics. One thing I was really excited to explore with this project was depicting dreamscapes and soulscapes, and exploring the idea of identity within South Africa and soul searching through symbols, especially through South African fauna and flora. I think this project also incorporates different countries together to explore similar topics that we might have in common. And I know that everyone's approach will be very different to one another, but I'm very excited to see where the project takes us. The title of my piece is Stitches of Soulscapes. My creative journey unfolded by starting to study the data provided and then looking at previous works I created in Indonesia and Japan as well, and exploring my ancestry. And side by side, I started formulating an idea that combined the two. The aim of my project was to explore urban dynamics and fragmented realities between cities. The creative journey for this project was quite interesting because I was deeply inspired by the data in terms of reflecting it onto my own dreamscapes and visions for the future. The aim was to explore urban dynamics and fragmented realities by being inspired by cartography and also mixing it with my own style in terms of symbolism, the fauna and flora of South Africa. I want the data to inspire the viewer to dream like I have and to visualize a future that could be quite ambiguous and abstract into something that's tangible, like a painting. The materials I used for this was a really large rolled canvas to start. I think this project also incorporates different countries together to explore similar topics that we might have in common. And I know that everyone's approach will be very different to one another, but I'm very excited to see where the project takes us. So when I studied the data initially, I looked at Johannesburg to see where the maps were sort of panning out to in the world. Data influenced the choices I made, mainly because it's so literal, and I've never really done something like this before where my abstract side of my work, exploring soulscapes and cityscapes, has been morphed into something that's quite unique now. I think the matriarch in the center of the piece represents my mother and my grandmother. I was mainly raised in a household with women. Our visions for the future are sometimes affected by our environment. The data also shows things a lot deeper than what we think it does. I think it shows circumstance and shows what communities are actually able to do. I think if everyone had the opportunity to travel and explore and move to other countries, they would. Choice allows us to explore our true desires. And when you're sort of confined into circumstance, especially like it was for my mother and grandmother 30 years ago in South Africa, dreaming is a little bit different. I am ambiguous, and so is this project. But there is something solid and true to what we do as artists and what we seek. And that's the truth. That's exploration of the soul, and that's storytelling. This is my first time using data in terms of my practice. A lot of my inspiration is stories from my ancestors and my mother and my grandmother. Using signs to depict something so abstract wasn't something I ever thought I would do. And what's interesting is because the data is so fixed, it allows you to reflect your own ideas onto it. I think because I approached this project with my own ideas, it didn't feel like anything was imposed on me or that my ideas were affected. I'm so inspired by the other artists in this project, and I think as a whole, we're showing multiple countries in Africa. We're showing different types of people, different ages, and giving a platform for all of us to storytell. One of the biggest things I learned about this project was dismantling social structures. And because I grew up in a matriarch and having central figure be inspired by my grandmother, I found it to be something that made me question my everyday life as well. I think sometimes as humans, we have such a fixed perspective of how we see the world, and this project really helped me open up my mind a bit more. I think large-scale paintings and murals are something that it's not that easy to be able to do or to have access to be able to do, and I am aware of that. So I'm just very grateful and blessed that my life has aligned the way it has to be able to create as I do.